Welcome in to Moving the Chains, brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. I'm Kevin Thomas alongside Jerel Hendricks. Got a great interview lineup today for you guys, a very special guest, the new head coach of the Dorman Cavaliers, Jake Morris. Coach, how you doing today?
I'm great, man. Thanks for having me on the show, and I really appreciate it and can't wait to dive into it.
We appreciate your time. We know your business means a lot to us. It really does. If this is you guys first time tuning in, check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube at Movin Chains. Our website, movinchains.com. That's movinchains.com. Our podcast available on Apple, Spotify, Google, and more. Coach Morris was hired in March. He was the assistant head coach this past season and has been on staff for 9 seasons overall. So, Coach, let's just start there. What's it like going from an assistant to being the head man now finally there for Dorman?
You know, it's really a dream come true. I played at Dorman. I was a part of the 09 championship team and it had a lot of success as a player here, and went on and played at North Greenville and played for Coach Chadwell for 2 years, who's now at Liberty. Then I played for Coach McCray for a year and Coach Farrington, who's still at North Greenville. So, you know, I had a lot of variety of coaches in college, which was an experience, a good experience, but it was stressful at times. And then I came back. I actually saw Coach Gutshaw and his wife in Costco in Spartanburg, and then he hired me in Costco basically to come back. I thought I wanted to coach college football and GA and go that route, and I was a little bit. And you know, he taught me into getting into high school, and you know, I thank the Lord every day that he did that. But it's really a neat experience. It's home for me. It's home for my family, and it's just a dream that I've always had to do, and it's really neat just to watch how the Lord's worked it out and then put me in this position.
So speaking on that a little bit, you said Coach Gutshaw, swayed you into high school ball. Was that the only determining factor in you going to high school as opposed to college? But what other things led to that move?
Yeah, so my wife and I were dating at the time, and we were getting serious, and I quickly found out how much commitment there was in college football with recruiting and being on the road a lot. And I'm a homebody.
Okay.
My wife's a homebody, and that had a really big factor in that. But also just the chance to come back to Dorman was really big for me, because this is a very special place I have a lot of pride in. And just having an opportunity to come home and coach for a guy that I consider to be one of my biggest mentors in life. He's like a grandfather to me. He's invested a lot in me. He's living the life now. He's retired, living at the ocean, walking on the beach every day. So, but just to be able to work for him and learn from him and really be like a sponge and soak up as much as I could from him was an opportunity I just couldn't pass on.
Coach, we talked some off air about it, but you've obviously been at Dorman for a long time now. Let's talk a little bit about, can you give the folks a little bit of a listen to what all you've done on staff leading up to this head coaching job now? What all have you coached before?
Yeah, I started all the way at the middle school level. I was in the first year I was the offensive line coach at Gable Middle School, which is one of our feeder programs, and then I became the defensive coordinator the next year, and then after that I was the head coach there for 2 years. All the while I was up here on Friday night. I had Friday night duties in the box. I was spotting, I was relaying coverages, all that stuff down to the field guys. And then Coach Gutshaw brought me up to be the 9th grade head coach for 1 year. And then after that year, I was varsity tight ends. And then I was JV head coach and running backs on varsity for 2 years. And then Coach Curtis came in, and then I was offensive line coach, associate head coach. And then it led to now where I'm the head coach. So I've really been from, I tell people all the time, I've been there, done that. I've worked my way up. I've done all the grunt work. I work for free a lot on Friday nights and Sundays. I come in and didn't get paid for it, but it's experiences and learning that this is not, you couldn't put a dollar sign on it. So it's been good, man.
Awesome. One of the most important things, in this coaching transition is hiring a staff. Where do you stand on that? Have you got your guys in place, or are you still working on filling all those positions?
Yeah. So one of the biggest things that I was talking to our administration about whenever I got the job, we went forward with this is consistency is the most important thing for our kids right now. I mean, I'm the 3rd head coach in 3 years, and there's a lot of uneasy feelings there was with our players, and newness coming in again and having to adjust. And I told them when I was the interim, when they named me the interim, one of the first things I told them was, guys, I had 3 head coaches in college. I understand completely what you're going through. it's a wave of emotions, and sometimes it feels easy just to bail and jump ship. So the consistency is important to me. So our coordinators are the same, and Stephen Cagle is the offensive coordinator, and Wade Cooper is our defensive coordinator, who, in my opinion, is one of the best out there. Wade's been doing this a long time, and Stephen's been, he played for Coach Chadwell as well. Stephen did. And so we have a great leadership group in those men and what they do. And everybody else is pretty well set. I do have a couple of defensive openings that I'm currently working on to try to get some assistance. And it was all due to, a couple guys leaving on their own and one guy getting a better opportunity. So other than that, man, we're set. We're trying to keep the kids hearing the same voices so they don't have to adjust and really just not have to rebuild too much, and just keep on moving forward and implementing a few things that I wanted to do. But other than that, we're looking pretty good. We're better than what we could be.
So for people who didn't get to see you guys last year, I know you're keeping the same coordinators. What kind of styles do you guys run on offense and defense, and what do you plan on doing here in 2023?
Yeah, so we've been known in the past as a very run-heavy program in offense. We love tight ends. We're going to continue to love tight ends and play with tight ends and really make people line up to us more so than try to scheme to stop us. Our offensive line the past few years, as you guys know, probably last year, we played with a Power 5 offensive line. We had two guys, one at South Carolina, one at North Carolina, who are already there and doing great things, and another one going on to play D2 football, and another one that could have if he did chose to do so. So we had a great group up front last year. I started 5 seniors on the offensive line last year, so we're kind of rebuilding there a little bit. Now we're not terrible. We're still got some good players, some guys that even played last year. Landon Green played some snaps as a sophomore on the varsity. He even started some games for us. But so we got some experience returning. But I think you're going to see us more so trying to get that ball out there and throw it around a little bit more. We're still going to line up with a tight end, and we're still going to get creative in that aspect. But again, we're both Chadwell guys. We cut from that cloth as well. And then I got the Dave Gutshaw I formation and the spread sets that he had, and he really brought the spread offense to the upstate when he came. So you're going to see a big mix of kind of all that. And I think it's kind of going to look like a little different team offensively than it has for the Cavaliers this year. But we're still going to do what I know best. We're still going to be able to run that football, but we're also going to be able to take the top off of it too. Defensively, we're your standard 3-4 reduction defense. We play a lot of coverages in the back end of it off our fronts, and we're going to continue to do so. Wade's really good at doing that. We kind of mix a 4-2-5 defense with a 3-4 reduction type sets. So we'll keep doing that. Our kids are good at it. In our region, in our classification, you can't line up in 2 coverages and expect to be successful. I mean, you got to throw some things at some people to try to disguise some stuff and hopefully get a pick here and there. But we're going to be fast. We're going to be simple. We're going to blitz like we always have with, the way Wade gets creative with it. But it's kind of where we are right now. Look, I trust him completely to run it. I told him the other day, I said, this is probably sad that I'm sitting here as the head coach, but you've probably forgotten more football in the years than I know right now, man. You've been doing this before I was born. But we got a great group with those 2 guys, man. And Coach Cagle and I putting our brains together offensively has been a lot of fun. And Wade just laughing at us when we get up there. We always, who wins the marker battle on the board. But that's kind of the plan right now moving forward.
So you mentioned Coach Gutshaw, who's a legend in this state, that's had coaching career, and then also Coach Chadwell, who's gone to immense success on the college level. You pick some things from them. Are there some other coaches that have been huge influences on you, or that you maybe model your style after?
Yeah, so those are the 2 biggest. And obviously Coach Gutshaw for numerous reasons, but Coach Farrington taught me a lot of things as well. He's at North Greenville. He's had a lot of success there, and he's taught me a lot of things that I still carry with me today. And some things he did I've picked up from, and some of my position coaches have been, phenomenal. Michael Langster, who's the head coach at Travelers Rest High School now, he was my position coach here. And I always told people, what I meant it is, I was never more prepared for a football game as a player than I was in high school. And that speaks volumes to him and to what he does for his players and his kids. And he's invested in me as well, even as a coach when I came back and I was working for them. And he was the assistant head coach and offensive line coach, and just learning things from him from the coaching side of it instead of the player side of it has been tremendous, and things that I still carry with me now. But even guys on staff currently that are on my staff. I mean, Wade Cooper is one of those guys, and Mark Dempsey, who's our director of football operations now, who has moved out of the on-field role, but he still keeps me straight. I get text messages every morning. I told him, I said, I think it's an old person thing, man. Like every time you text me, you put 15 question marks at your exclamation. But no, he keeps me straight, and just having those men that I've been fortunate enough to be in my life and to coach me and to kind of mold me into this position. And there's many, many more, but those really are the main ones.
You mentioned a couple of guys earlier, like DJ Geth, Marky Anderson, obviously also graduated some talent like Foster and Porter and those guys. But what kind of team do you guys have coming back? Any special guys that we should be on the lookout for here in 2023?
Yeah, I mean, this group coming back is a great core group of individuals. We have talent. We may not look on the huff like we did last year, but we still have talent. And I think this group's very coachable, and they're starting to bond together as a team. And when you get that, when they bond together as a team, special things can happen. You can do some, pretty shocking deals. But Brandon Teamer is coming back. Brandon is a stud. I think he's got a chance to really, just blow up here this year. And as far as the recruiting aspect of it, but he's a safety that plays like a linebacker. He's not afraid to hit you. Sammy Brandon's back there with him as well. Sammy had missed his sophomore year of playing, just transportation issues, couldn't get to practice on time, all that stuff. But he bounced back his junior year, and really expect some good things out of him this year. Is on the back end. Then our linebacker core with Owen Hendricks and Adam Golock and all those guys, and Chase and Brady, we feel great there. Offensively, I think we're returning Landon Green back to the front. It's going to be big. We got a sophomore coming up in Parker McMillan, who we're counting on there, and we got some returning seniors who played some as a junior. So we feel good with those guys as well. And then David Sorson right now is locked in as our starting quarterback. But again, like I tell everybody, we're going to play the best 11 no matter who they are. So we got some guys behind them battling, and Jordan Sink and Riley Scruggs. So, we feel good about where we are. We're not as talented per se, player for player, as we were last year. But we do have a great group of players and a great group of kids who are willing to work and fight and just work their tails off every day for each other. So when you get that, special things happen. We saw that in 2009, my senior year. The most talented Dorman team that's ever came through here was 2008. We had guys on that team that went on to play in the league. Brandon Thomas, who's coaching at Clemson now, was on that team. Malcolm Boyd, who's on staff with us, went to Liberty and played. And we came up one game short and lost to Burns in the upper state championship game. But then the next year we weren't as talented, and we graduated everybody but me on the offensive line, and we went back and won it. So when you can get guys together and you can get a senior class that really buys into what you're trying to do, special things can happen. I really think this group of guys are doing that.
Speaking of that talented group last year that you were a part of coaching on the offensive line with those D1 guys and the other guys that could have gone to college, is there pressure on you as a coach, knowing that you're setting these guys up for the next level, and you've played college ball as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think there always is, no matter if they're going to Power 5 schools or going to D2 schools. My calling in life is to have my players as prepared as I can for whatever that next step is. And this is something that I talked about when I interviewed here, and I've always believed this, but my goal is that my players are never better football players than they are men when they leave me. And that was as a position coach and as a head coach. That's what I believe, and that's always the pressure that I take, more so than having them prepared exit and O-wise. I believe in what we do. I know football, know schematics, and I know all the drills. There's only so many ways you can skin a cat, and those guys at the big schools are doing the same things we're doing. They're just doing it with much higher quality athletes, right? So, we have that pressure, yes, but we also have the added pressure to where we're trying to prepare these guys for life, whatever that looks like outside of here. So that's more so the pressure than it is, having them prepared to play football, because that's the easy part.
It's about that time of year, Coach. Have you guys been able to set your spring practice schedule yet? And if so, are you going to have a spring game at the end? And do you have any 7-on-7s on it for the summer already as well?
Yeah, so we're quick in spring practice. Our graduation is May 25th, and we can't really get on the game field that week of. So we are going May 1st through the 5th, at Monday through Friday. Then we'll come back that next week and go Monday through Friday, and then we'll come back that following week and go Monday, Tuesday, walk through on Wednesday, and play on the 18th of a spring game. So we'll split our team up. We'll have blue-white game and split them up with 2 different staffs, 2 different teams, and let some guys that may not normally call plays with the younger guys, and and get after it and can compete a little bit, and we'll have some fun things in between. And then we jump right into summer, as y'all know, and football's kind of evolved this all year-round deal. So yeah, our June is slammed with some 7-on-7s. We're traveling. We're actually going to Auburn to play in one, take the kids out there and stay overnight and let them experience that caliber of football and just see that type stadium and play there and get some good competition. Then we got some local games here we're going to play in and really, stress the importance of just getting better. Anybody can win a 7-on-7 championship and then go 0 for in the season. So we want to win those, yes, but we're out there to get better, and I think that's the whole premise behind doing that. And so July is pretty backed off for us. We about to start it in the fall camp, so June's going to be heavy, and then the whole month of May, these players are probably going to hate me when we get through that spring game. That's brutal, man. That's 3 weeks of 5 days and going at it, but I think it'll be good when we get through it.
Another aspect of the 7-on-7, outside of getting your team ready for the upcoming season, is giving those guys exposure. With it being harder for these high school kids getting recruited with the transfer portal and all that mess on the college level, how important is it having those pre-existing relationships with the college coaches and recruiters to get your guys out there and into the open?
I think it's vital. I think you always got to be honest with them. And that keeps them coming back to you. If I go tell them that this kid runs a 4.3 and he's a stud, and he gets there and he runs a 4.7 and he sucks, they're not going to come back and recruit our guys. So I'm always honest with them, but then I always try to get our kids to places where they can realistically play. Everybody thinks that they can play at Clemson and South Carolina, and I mean, shoot, I did too, but I ended up playing at North Greenville, and that's just high school football and where it's going now, and what people facts versus fiction and reality versus dreams. So we stress that to our kids, and we always try to be honest with them about where they can fall in between that recruiting line. And then I try to take them to a variety of schools, whether it be D2 or all the way up to, like, we're going to Auburn this year. And then I stress trying to get them to camps, local camps. I know Anderson University does a camp where there's tons of other colleges coming to recruit them. So we get them exposed and we get them in places, but we're also realistic with it. And we push them to where probably the vast majority of them can actually play and benefit from. So that's vital to us, man. We're going to continue to do that. And we try to get as many colleges, campuses as we can, and just get our kids there and get them seen.
Coach, you guys play in arguably the toughest region in the state, in Region 2-5A, with Burns, Gaffney, Spartanburg, Boiling Springs. Does the strength of that region play a part in your non-region schedule at all? Is it something like, hey, we need to make sure our guys are healthy, maybe we take a lower classification game, or does it play a part into how you schedule your non-region games at all?
Yeah, it can. I'm more towards the I guess this comes from Coach Getshaw, where after this year's up, and we got a new region alignment coming out probably sometime in the fall here, but it's harder and harder to find non-region games and try to find a lower classification that'll actually play you, because they're thinking the same thing as well. A lot of regions in the upstate are tough. I do believe that we probably play in the toughest. We always talk about the big three. We get through region right at the start of region, we'll go to Bowling Springs, which they're getting better and better. Coach Real's doing a phenomenal job, and that's so that's not you can't just say that's a win, because it's not, and they're good. And then you go straight, man. We're back to back with Burns, Spartanburg, and Gaffney. I mean, you talk about brutal. I mean, those are slugfests. So yeah, it's hard to do that, but I also like to prepare in non-region games and play quality opponents. Like I would love to see us back on the schedule with Dutch Fork and Coach Knotts and those guys, and to be able to experience playing high level football before you get to high level football, I think is very important. So I love to throw everything we can at our guys, especially in non-region. Hey, if you lose it, you lose it, but it doesn't really matter in the whole scheme of things. We're going to try to win every game we got, but man, we got to be prepared too, because we don't have, there's not a week in our region where we could say, hey, you know what, this is a win. I mean, it just doesn't exist. And really on our schedule this year, we opened up with Greenville. I mean, Coach Porter's a phenomenal coach, and the things he's done has been exceptional. You know, he beat Coach Knotts in the state championship one year, and he beat him like a drum, I believe. And so just there's no easy week, I guess. You know, it's a bloodbath everywhere we go. But yeah, that does play a fact into it, and it's hard. It's getting harder and harder and harder to schedule those games.
Building off that, how beneficial is it playing in that region when it comes to playoff time? That grass starts turning brown, and knowing that you've played some of the best in the state, and you probably, you know, if you get far enough, have to play them again down the road.
Yeah, I mean, it is. It is. It's beneficial, especially because you probably had just about every scenario thrown at you that you could by the time you make it to playoffs, you know. And so as long as you can stay healthy, that's the key role, because when those games are very physical and they're very taxing on the body. So if we can keep our kids healthy through that, which causes us to adjust practice to be smarter as coaches to try to keep some blows off of them as well. But yeah, I mean, it is beneficial, especially if you make it through healthy and you enter playoffs, you're probably not going to see anything better than what you just saw. And you do. And that's the old saying, man, if you want to go to Columbia on a Saturday, first Saturday in December, you better be able to beat some of them twice.
Take your financial game to the next level with Founders Federal Credit Union. Reach your full potential. Relax. Join Founders today. Visit an office near you or relaxjoinfounders.com to apply. Federally insured by NCUA, member qualification required.
A couple of easier ones here for you, Coach, before we let you go. I think you mentioned earlier you played in the 09 state title team there at Dorman. You also coached now, I think, in 3 different games. What was more nerve-wracking, playing for state or coaching for it?
Stu, probably coaching, to be honest with you. You know, when you're a player, you really don't understand what all goes into it. You know, you just show up, you're like, hey man, we get to eat breakfast early on Saturday and go play at Williams-Brice Stadium. I mean, it was a good experience, you know. I mean, and you're walking out, people are calling your name, and little kids know who you are, and that's fun. But when you go out there as a coach and all them eyes are on you as coaches, hey, y'all gonna pull this home, or are we just gonna get embarrassed again type deal. But yeah, it is a lot of pressure getting there, and then once you get there, it's still a lot of pressure to try to win that thing, because man, it's hard. South Carolina football is really, really good, and I don't think we get enough credit across the nation as probably as we should, because I'm telling you, we got some good football here, good football players, good football coaches in every school. It really doesn't matter what school you go to. There's going to be good football coaches. So. Yeah, it's a lot of pressure, man, but I have been fortunate enough to coach in 3 state championship games since I've been back, and was a part of 4 region championships here in a row under Coach Gutshaw. So to be able to do that is very, very rewarding, and it's very humbling too, because this region is tough. So if you can win the region championship here, I mean, hey man, you've done something.
A staple Moving the Chains question. I got to ask you about some food in the Spartanburg area. I need some recommendations. There's going to be a lot of pressure on you as a former offensive lineman yourself and O-line coach. I know you know how to eat, and I know your guys like to eat. So where should we go in that Spartanburg area?
Hey, look, what are you looking for? Mexican, burgers? What
Anything.
All right. So if I'm going to get a hamburger, I'm going to Crib's Kitchen downtown. They got some of the best hamburgers out. Man, I could probably eat 20 of them if I really put my mind to it. But that's probably my first choice to where I'm going to head to, and then after that, I'm probably going to head to Wingstop or Smoking Wings, one of those two, and grab some wings. So
yeah, those
are my 2 places, and you know, hey, Spartanburg's growing. It really is. It's changing all the time. My wife and I, you know, we go down there and eat, and like, man, honey, when did this restaurant come up? You know, we try them out, but yeah, I definitely would recommend you guys going to Crib's Kitchen and getting you a burger.
Cool. And then you can shoot over to Greer too. That downtown is awesome now, how they revitalized all that. So
yeah, it's growing up too.
Coach, I think I saw on Twitter, maybe either in your bio or in some of your tweets, you're using the hashtag stick to the task. What does that really mean to you when you guys program?
Well, you know, it's one of the first things I read to our players when they announced me as the interim head coach, because Dell Evans, he did not write the poem, but that was his staple of of our program. When you played for Dell Evans, and I never did, obviously, but when you played for Coach Dell Evans, you had to memorize and recite that poem. If he would call on you at practice, no matter when it was in the year, that was his only requirement. You better recite that poem. And if you didn't recite it or didn't remember it in the time frame, you weren't on the team. So I guess what it really means it's kind of our staple in District 6 in the athletic department. It's right outside of our weight room. That the weight room's named after him, and it's right outside of it. But really just, stick to the task until it sticks to you is what I preach to our kids now, because it's so easy now to waver. It's so easy to just jump ship and to go somewhere else, especially when I'm third head coach again, and going through that change of coaches coming in and trying to learn new systems and new coaches and new ways of doing things. It's really easy not to stick to your program and to your teammates. So to me, personally, it just means to stick to the task that's been laid out to me, and not to waver on it and to stay with it. Because one of the best parts of that poem is it says honor, power, place, and praise will come in time to the one who stays. And I believe that, and I told our kids that. I said, guys, if you stick with me and you stay and you keep on preparing, we're going to have our time. Our honor and our praise is going to come. Just stick to it, and that's something we preach. We use the hashtag S3T, which is stick to the task, and we're going to hold to it. And I think that's something that our kids really have bought into in our school district as well.
That's another question I have for you. You've mentioned that, previously, being the third head coach in 3 years there, you mentioned the kids and how they've bought in, and, it's been a little difficult for them grasping this situation. But how's the sense among the community? Dorman's a very proud football community. How are they dealing with the fact that they're on their third coach in 3 years?
The community's been nothing short of just amazing. Just their overwhelming support for me and my family. Obviously, I'm a homegrown boy. I've been here and came back here, and I've devoted a lot of my life to Dorman High School, and will continue to do so. But they have welcomed us with open arms. They've been nothing but supportive. I've had no, ill will comments, and I get it. Like, I'm not crazy. I know there's probably those questions out there. Why him? He's never been a varsity head coach, but so it's been really, really amazing for the support and encouragement that I've gotten letters and emails and phone calls from people that I don't even know in the community, voicing their support for me and backing me and all that. And so they've been great, and our community is phenomenal, and we got exceptional people here, and they're very, very, very prideful of this school, as we all are. We should be. We're blessed and fortunate to have what we have here, and it's cool to. It's not a small town, we're very spread out. Our district is huge, probably one of the biggest in the state, but we feel very small town like, because our community just supports and loves this program so much.
Last one here for you, Coach. Do you guys have any goals set yet for the 2023 campaign?
We really haven't sat down as a team and set goals. I like to do that right after spring practice as you're transitioning into that summer schedule. And but I can tell you, for me, like my goals personally is one that we grow as men in this program, and that I'm always striving to tell our kids, learn something new about yourself and something you can change and something you can take with you and build off of. But then I just want to win the next game. That's my goal. I just want to go out there and win the next game, and whatever that game may be. It's the first game, then let's go to the second game, then the third game, and then let's just keep winning the next game. And obviously, I'm never going to go into a season. This is a Dave Gutshaw thing through and through, but I will never go into a season as a coach, not believing that I don't have a chance to go all the way. And I do believe that we do have a chance to do that, and I'll always believe that, because if the ball bounces the right way, man, anybody can do it. So that's obviously goal number one, but we're gonna take it one game at a time.
Well, this has been great. Definitely, all of our followers, go check out Coach Morris and the Dorman program on Twitter and Facebook. They do a great job sharing player info and schedule things and highlights, things like that. So definitely check them out there. Like I mentioned, check us out: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube at Movin Chains, our new website, movingchains.com, and our podcast on Apple, Spotify, and Google. Moving the Chains brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. Jerel, anything else for Coach before we let him go today?
First off, congratulations. I know that's got to be awesome for you. love seeing the chances that, you know, those homegrown boys get to coach their school. That's just got to be a special moment for you and your family. So congratulations, first of all, you know, landing that Dorman job. Speaking with you has been a pleasure today. Wish you guys continued success. We know you're going to be good. You're going to have a target on your back, so I know you're going to have to come out the gates hot. But after speaking with you today, you know, there's no doubt in my mind that you guys are going to be as good as you have been historically. And wish you guys the best of luck this season.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, Coach, really appreciate it. Look forward to stopping by a practice or a game this summer and sometime and getting to meet you and best of luck the rest of the way.
Sounds good. Y'all come out anytime. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Coach.